Let's talk about the moments in relationship when it feels like some kind of a rupture has occurred. So maybe we are misattuning with someone. They are trying to communicate something with us, and we're either just not getting it or we're distracted, and they end up feeling incredibly missed by us. Or maybe we said something that landed as hurtful to another person, or maybe we made a commitment or a promise and we didn't follow through on it, or whatever it may be. The other person feels like you didn't see me, you didn't get me, I wasn't important, my feelings were hurt, something like that. So let's just call that a rupture, right? There's a rupture in the bond. There's a rupture in the attunement that's happening between you and this other individual. And it's interesting because for so many people, we're so afraid of this rupture. We're so afraid. We don't like this feeling of we're not on the same page, or I feel like maybe I hurt you in some way, or um, we don't like the feeling of the disconnect. It actually lands inside as quite painful. And so we end up doing things and acting in ways almost in an attempt to try to avoid rupture. But rupture is actually really, really important in a relationship. If you look at the current research on attachment, what we understand is that, from the language of a caregiver, that an attuned caregiver with their child is only attuned 30% of the time. So, whether it's a relationship between an adult and a child or two adults, what we're really talking about is this sort of getting it right is actually not the norm in a pattern between two people. In fact, a lot of relationship patterns are about navigating the rupture. We disconnected. Well, how do we come back? I disconnected from myself. How do I come back? I recognize I said something and it impacted you. How do I make amends? And it's really this beautiful coming back within ourselves and coming back towards the other person that really is the crux of where trust ultimately forms in a relationship dynamic. This is the place where you and this other individual get to learn we do hard things together. We can be messy together. We can go in and out of connection. We know how to repair. Think of it this way: if for some reason you could pull off just nailing it all the time and being totally attuned, the other person could actually in their relationship feel really lovely with you, but they might not develop trust with you because you really don't learn to trust another human being until you go through some of the hard moments. So we might even say that trust and deep connection between two people has less to do with whether rupture happened or not, but how well the repair happened after the rupture. And so, in a dynamic that you're having with another human being, or if it's you and a child, I invite you not to be afraid of rupture. It's going to happen. You're a human being. They're a human being. It's going to happen. You're going to be distracted. You're going to be off. Like, it's just going to happen. It doesn't mean that we don't attend to that and try to be mindful, but it's going to happen. And so, then the question is, when it does happen, what do you do with that? Do you run away? Just pretend it didn't happen? Do you not talk about it? Do you avoid? Do you get super anxious? Like, what do you do with it? And really lean into, how do I work on repairing ruptures really, really well? Let that become one of the skills that you become really, really good at in relationship, because that's the piece at the end of the day that is really going to strengthen the bond between you and yourself and you and the other person and deepen the relationship at the level where I know that you would love it to go in the first place. So don't avoid rupture, just practice the repair.